Thanks for stopping by. I'd like to preface this video by saying it is not a knitting tutorial, but it means to have something playing in the background while you work on your own project. If you're like me and really enjoy having something on while you work, sometimes the content you like is very visually engaging and you're several hours in and haven't gotten nearly as far along in your project as you would have liked to. So that's where I come in. If you're new here, welcome, and if you're returning, welcome back. It is Friday. Happy end of the week to you, and tomorrow is Halloween. I hope you have some spoopy things planned, but if not, I hope you have a good Saturday and Sunday anyway. It's currently 10:41 p.m. here this Thursday night. It's late, but I'm a night owl anyway, so I thought, why not just do one more video and then call it quits for the evening. I have some work to do, and I thought if I just have this being uploaded at the same time, why not kill two birds with one stone, since I do have a project to work on. So with that, we are getting very close to the point in my round where I will be decreasing my stitches, which is literally just this one, and then I can do my knit two together. And if you hear any meowing, that is Koji out in the hallway. He is very much letting me and anyone else who cares to listen know that he is ready for his dinner. I tend to feed them later at night because then that allows them to wind down and eat and not bother me while I'm asleep. And since it's close to the time that I would normally feed them, he's always very alert around this time. Anyone who's either making an attempt to come upstairs or go to the kitchen usually hears from him that we should make a pit stop and get him something to eat. But that is how it goes. I think I hear him running around, and sometimes he'll just wait by the door. It's so funny because if he hears you open like the pocket door on the side of the kitchen, he'll freak out and come around that side, and I usually have to close the door because he'll just keep walking in the kitchen and I won't even be anywhere near close to the time where I need to start preparing his dinner, and he'll just be in there waiting for me. So I have to tell him, like, no, Koji, out of the kitchen. It's not time yet. Calm down. But what does he know? He's a cat. He does know he's not supposed to be in the kitchen, though, because we have enough dust bunnies in the kitchen just from residual drafts blowing cat fur in there. Then we need to have him contributing to that, so we try to keep him out of there. Plus he likes to bust open the cabinet doors and sniff around, and it's like, no, that's not good. So no cats in the kitchen. And it's so much easier now because we can close our kitchen door than it used to be. At our old place, we just kind of had to remind them when they went in there that they needed to go. But of course they could do whatever they wanted when we weren't home because we couldn't see them. But now we have an official boundary to enforce, which is so nice. And apologies for the pause there, not pause and pearls, but an actual moment where there wasn't any activity, and I had to do a jump cut because my partner is in fact getting ready for bed, and part of their nightly routine involves blowing their nose really loud, hawking loogies into the sink after they've brushed their teeth, slamming doors, stomping around, you know, the usual stuff that people do that picks up very loudly on camera. And I thought I could talk over some of it, but I don't think I'll be successful, so I had to stop and just let it ride itself out. And that's my fault for waiting so late, but even if they did have to, you know, use the bathroom that has the shared wall, sometimes I have to stop because you guys might hear something. The joys of cohabitation, right? But, so we just did our decrease round, so I'm going to knit, and this is in every other round until I get to 64 stitches, and then I can just knit in a circle pretty mindlessly until I'm about 7 inches, and then I can cut my yarn and incorporate a new color because of how the things have gone. Unfortunately, I can't just have a seamless sock this time around. So if you are not going out tomorrow, do you usually go to parties or go trick-or-treating or take your friends or family trick-or-treating during Halloween if you are part of a nation or country that celebrates it? I stopped trick-or-treating when I was 14 years old, and I have handed out candy when I lived with my parents, but I don't do it anymore because the area I live in, my particular zone doesn't have any children, and most of the people who live by me live in big fancy houses, and they go to the other big fancy houses to get the goods, you know? So they don't even bother with my rinky-dink townhouse. There was one year, and it was the first year we lived here, that I bought candy, assuming there would be trick-or-treaters, because I actually lived in like a house and not an apartment, and not one doorbell ring, not one knock, and I had 2 big old bags of candy, and we ended up throwing it out because we tried eating it ourselves, and we tried picking away, and it was so slow that by the time, you know, we ate as much as we could, it was like February. So we were like, okay, that's it. But honestly, Halloween candy itself isn't that exciting to me. There are like special occasions where, you know you're gonna get something and it's gonna be Halloween related. But in all, if there's any themed candy that I like, it's Easter candy. I'm not a religious person myself, but when I was younger, I would on occasion get Easter baskets, but really I just liked the candy selection that was around during Easter because it was actually like stuff you don't get during the rest of the year. Like Christmas, you might have your fancy chocolate boxes, but you get those during Valentine's Day too. And it's really nothing like special to the holiday, it's just packaged in a way that's different. But Easter is when you get the Cadbury eggs, which I am all for. I love a Cadbury egg. I love a full chocolate bunny. I love themed jelly beans and gumdrops and, you know, oh, what other cool candies did they used to have? They used to have these things called was it milk foils or the Milka things? It was almost like a Cadbury egg, but you cracked the top of it and it had cream or chocolate inside. That was pretty tasty. You know, all the different jelly beans. Just a lot of Peeps. If you're a Peeps person, that's when they're kind of like all the time now, but most of the time it's, you know, you have your Halloween Peep or your Easter Peep, but I'm more of the Easter Peep person, but I don't eat them like that. But, you know, there's somebody who brought them into work. I will eat a Peep. But they're just tasty. Super tasty. But yeah, I'm all about the Cadbury egg. I just try to buy as many as I can a little bit after so that I can eat them. But I know last episode I was talking about the candies that I miss and the Halloween candy that really stood out to me when I was younger. But let's have this question be what holiday candy in general do you really like? Are you a Halloween person? Are you Easter? Are you Christmas? Are you a Valentine's Day person? I mean, I guess Valentine's Day has the candy hearts. That's different. Usually don't get those any other time, so I guess that's different. But yes, you can tell where my mind likes to wander when I am working on these projects. And it's so funny because my partner was streaming again this evening and was mentioning to somebody that they drive by a donut shop to and from work every day, but the donut shop closes around 1 during the week, and they were saying, oh, maybe I should go get one tomorrow. And I just looked at them like, okay. They had been talking about it so much, it's almost like they put that in their head that they need it now. Everybody's making noise now. Okay, we just finished a normal knit round, so we are on to a decrease round. And the faster we're going makes me believe that we are getting close to our 64 stitches. But after this decrease round, I'm going to count again just to see where we are. I haven't gotten that far, so I don't think we're there yet. But it's always good to, especially for me, it's always good to check every few rounds just to make sure, because it seems that when I start talking to you guys, I get a little distracted and then I lose my place. Which is why I try to just knit like a plain part, so then I don't have to do any counting. That's the safest way. But whoop, sounds like Koji has alerted somebody of his request for dinner. That's okay. I've been doing like this thing where when I give them their wet food, I'll put a little bit of pumpkin in it. Not because it's Halloween or anything, but to actually help with their fiber and regularity, and because, as you guys know, Kabu likes to lick the heck out of herself. The fiber helps with passing hairballs, which, funny enough, you would think because Koji's so fluffy he would have hairballs. He rarely has hairballs. It's always Kabu. She's always the one hacking up along because she eats her fur. So I've been doing better about adding more fiber to their meals so that they can actually pass them instead of hacking them up in places where I find, unfortunately, usually someplace like it's hard to get to, or I'm in a rush and I'm like, oh man, I have to stop and clean this up now. And sometimes I can catch them in time, but sometimes they do it in the middle of the night because, you know, they're cats and they like to do that. And then I'm like, oh man. And you see like this little trail of spittle on the floor to wherever they had gone. but it's funny. Koji and my partner are talking to each other. Do you ever do that? Do you answer your cat with meows back? Sometimes we do that. Most of the time it's more of like a mocking, like, oh, you're gonna meow at me, eh? Well, I'm just gonna meow at you because you're being irrational. You know, obviously cats don't understand that, but it's just like, meow, meow, meow. Okay, I'll meow back at you. But then other times it's more like a conversation where it's like, yes, I understand, or what is going on? Why are you screaming at me? I'm like, you have food, why are you screaming? But actually at the cat summit, the cat behavior summit, it was kind of like a marketing session, but the first session about cat behavior on that Saturday did talk about why cats tend to bother people even though they clearly have food in their bowl, and it's because at least the vet explained it as the cat still instinctively wants some kind of process to happen before they get the food, and they're kind of hunting you by getting you to react, and then when you go to their food dish, then they start eating. They're like, oh, yep, I just hunted this human, here is my food, I'm going to eat now. And it kind of fulfills that sense of that hunt and play, catch, eat, or hunt, catch, play, eat is the process, and them bugging you even though they have food is that hunting part. So it kind of makes sense, but sometimes it's like I feel like they just forget. But I don't know. Who do you believe, the vet, or do you think your cat just forgot that they already have food and are alerting you because, you know, the whole joke that they can see the bottom of their bowl, so that means there isn't any food there, kind of a thing. So, alright, so we just finished our one decrease, and I already know that I have 32 across the instep because the instep never changes. It's always the stitches on the side. So I'm gonna just do a 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 23, 24, 26, 28, 30, 32. Okay, so we have 32 right here, so 32 and 32 is obviously a 64, so I have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14 left. So math, of course, if we're decreasing every other round, we have 14. 14 divided by 2 is 7. So that is 7 rounds times 2. What? I think we just have 14 more rounds essentially, because that's how many stitches we have, and if we're decreasing by 2 and we're still knitting another round, then that's still 2. I don't know. Either way, we have some time to go. But with that being said, it is the end of the video. I'm just gonna go ahead and do my regular knit around, and hopefully by next week when you see me, I'm really hoping we're gonna be on a new project, but it all really depends on what I have going on, because you know how it goes, where every day is different, but so far we're making some progress here. And with that, I hope you have a good, safe weekend. Stay safe, be mindful of what you're doing. If you are feeling like going out trick-or-treating, maybe spray down your candy with Lysol before you eat it. I don't know. I just want everybody to be safe. So I will see you next week. Bye.